Alright, today I'm going to be covering Mysql functions inside of PHP using the scripts that we created in the previous 3 videos. I'm going to be picking up exactly where we left off. If you need these scripts, I will have them available to download off my blog for reference. Alright, if you missed any of those videos, feel free to check them out on my blog or YouTube channel. My blog is ryancon.com, YouTube channel is ryancon4. Alright, so let's get right into it. So you remember last time I created this column called ID, and I set it to auto increment. For each row that was entered, it would add the next number in line. Today I'm going to show you why I do that for deleting and updating these rows in the database table. So let's say we want to delete posts. So what we want to do is add a delete button inside the do while statement, because we're going to want it repeated for each post that is in there. Alright, so for now we're going to call that delete post PHP. We're going to put a question mark, and the ID is going to equal the variable ID. And this is going to be for each post. Now the ID equals, I just grab that column out of the database, just like I did with the content post and the author and the title. I'm just going to grab that out the same way. So that should equal, let me pull that up. So if it's post 1, the ID should be 1. If it's post 2, the ID should be 2, and so on and so forth. And there's a reason I'm using that, and that's to have a reference to delete out of the database from. Now I could use the content, the author, or the title to delete from the database, but the auto increment table is the best way to do it, because you will never have the same entry in there twice. Because even if you delete one out of there, it'll pick up off the last one. So say you delete 3 out of 4, it'll still go to 5. It won't make 3 again. So that's why this is the best way to do it, because you'll never have a duplicate entry to worry about. So anyways, so the href on this is going to be, and this is a standard HTML. If you need a tutorial on HTML, feel free to let me know. So the href is going to be delete post PHP. Then question mark, that defines that I'm going to be declaring something after that. So I'm declaring an ID, which is going to equal the ID of the post. And that's what I'm declaring. And we're going to be using the get method to get this ID out of the URL on the next page, which is this is the best practice to pass variables from one page to another. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that and see what that looks like. And you see, there's the delete right there. So if we want to delete this one, this should, as you can see up here in the right hand corner, I'm using Firefox Beta, and it used to be down in the corner, but it's up here now. So you can see how it says ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, and ID 4. I'll go ahead and show the source so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So for each post, so this is post number 1, the ID is 1. Post number 2, the ID is 2, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly the way it should be, because that's the way it is in the database. So now for the actual delete page. So we're going to delete post PHP, which I've already created the page, and we're going to want to get that ID out of the URL. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So the first thing I did here was include the config, because we're going to be interacting with the database on this page. So we need the config file. So the first thing I'm going to do, like I do with all other variables, is I'm going to declare a variable for the get. And this is going to be get, oops, one too many brackets in there, and we're going to get the ID. And what this is going to do is get the ID right out of the URL. So if you're wondering where I got that ID from, it's this. It's not the variable, it's what is the variable equals. So ID equals the ID, in this case would be 1, 2, 3, 4, so I want to get that ID. So then the next thing we're going to want to do is run the actual query to delete that from the database. So we're just going to go Mysql query. Don't forget your parentheses. And we're going to use delete from blog. Blog is the name of the actual table right here, blog. So we're going to delete from blog where ID, which is the column ID, right here, equals the variable ID. Then that's all there is to that, and that will delete the whole row from blog where the ID equals ID. And that's a lot more manageable to use the ID with just 1-digit numbers or 2-digit numbers or how many ever you may have. It's just more manageable to use numbers there instead of actual content. And then after that, what I want to do is redirect back to the members page. That way it appears as if they never left the page. So we'll go back to members, PHP. Oops, maybe PHP. Just like that. And we'll go ahead and save it. So what we're doing is when they click on that button, it's going to go to delete post PHP with the ID of that post. Then we're going to get the ID of that post out of the URL, and we're going to delete that post and go back to the members page. So let's see if this works. So let's say we want to delete one of these posts. Well, this one's already purple, why not? So we'll go ahead and try to delete the third post. And there it is, gone just like that. And you can check the database. And you'll notice the third post isn't in there anymore. It's just got 1, 2, 4. So let's say we want to delete the second post. So we'll just click delete on the second post. And there it is, gone. And you can see how, you notice how it doesn't appear as if you've ever left the page, when in actuality it has gone to a different page. Now what we could do is put a little content on the other page that says you have successfully deleted the post. That's entirely up to you. I'm not going to do that today. But, so we deleted the second and the third post. You see the second post is right here. And now it's gone. So, that is how you successfully delete rows out of a database. Just using MySQL query delete. And what that's doing is just deleting that whole row from blog where the ID equals the ID of that post. And like I said before, that is a good reason why you would want to use there's a column called ID and set it to auto increment. So we have delete taken care of if we want to delete posts. But say we want to update one or change the content of one. So what we're going to want to do down here, let's actually create another page. And we're going to call this page. So then what we can do is, I already did this earlier, I don't think I explained it, is I created a header and a footer for the basic HTML stuff. So what I want to do is include the header, header.php, and then somewhere down here we'll just put in a footer. And include footer.php, and it's yelling at me because I forgot a semicolon. Alright, so we'll go ahead and save that as update post. Update post. And we'll go ahead and save that. Alright, so I don't think I explained this. So the header PHP is just a basic document type declaring and most of the HTML head stuff that you have to have. That's all there is to that. And the reason I do that is in case I have to edit it, I only have to edit one file instead of going into each and every file. So then the next thing we want to do is include the config file because we will be interacting with the database here too. So config dot .php. Now we'll go ahead and save that. So what we're going to want to do here is we want to get the content from the database and we want to be able to edit it. So the first thing we're going to want to do, let me get some real estate here. Probably don't need that much, but it never hurts. So what we want to do is run a query to get that information out of the database. Just like we have before, I'm going to grab the stuff from post 1. So we'll go ahead and call this query. That's going to equal MySQL query. And select, oops, I forgot my parentheses. Select all columns from blog, and we'll just leave it at that for now. Then we'll run the usual stuff down here. We'll call this the data equals MySQL fetch assoc of the query. And we'll leave that at that. So let's grab everything out of there just like we did before. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste. And I'm going to be using a do while statement in here too, so I can just go ahead and, so there'll be multiple ones. We'll go do, and I'm going to let me copy that in there. Use copy and paste as much as possible. It makes everything a lot much easier. I don't like writing something if I don't have to. So we're going to do our do while statement, and oops, don't need the semicolon. What we do need is that. Like I said before, you can just copy and paste that in there. Let me make sure that's right because it's still yelling at me. And yes, it is. Okay. Alright. So what we want to do is declare this stuff on this page so we can edit it. So that is not RY anymore, it's data. So we need to change that to data. And that one to data. And this one to data. Well, maybe. Alright. So what we're going to want to do here is I'm going to close off this PHP tag because I have some HTML I'm going to put in here. And I'll reopen this back down here. Alright. So what we want to do here is put this information into a text area of something so you can actually edit it. And okay, so this is just the same as the members PHP. Delete post out of here. Alright. So this is just going to be the same as reproducing the posts, except for I'm going to echo it out in a different way. So what I want to do is we're going to make a form here. And we'll call the method post. And the action, we'll figure that out a little bit later. So we'll go ahead and close that form. So what we want to do first is a input type will equal text. And we'll give that a name of title. And we'll go ahead and close that. Oops. Then we'll do another, then this time we're going to do a text area. And we'll give that a name of content. Now in text areas you actually have to close them just like that. And what we want to do for these, I'll go back through this and do this in a second. Then the author, in case you wanted to change that, we'll just leave that out for now because you wouldn't want to change the author. Alright, so what we want to do here, so this data gets represented in this form, is give these a value. So what we want to have here is a value of, we're going to echo out the variable title. Then the same thing goes here, and we'll go value. Well, actually, we don't need to do that. That needs to go between those two, so we'll just go ahead and echo this out. The content, or post, I'm sorry. That's the name of the variable there. Post. And that'll be a basic form, nothing fancy. Now what this is going to do is it's going to give a value of what's already in the database. So it's going to give you the value of what the title is for each one. And that's going to repeat it for both ones. So you can see what I'm talking about. I'll go ahead and save that and show you. So let's see. We are over here. Instead of members PHP, we want update posts. Well, that's a little sloppy, so let me format that there a little bit. So you can see how that repeated it for each one. So let me stick this stuff. I don't think we quite need a table. So anyways, so we'll go columns on this. We'll go 20. And columns are going across, rows are going up and down. And we'll go 5. So that looks a little bit cleaner. And what we want to do is I'm going to stick a table in here. Oh, not there. So let's stick a table in here to give this a little bit better formatting. So let's go insert table. Oh, and that's over there. And I'm actually running out of time, so what I'll do is I'll make 2 parts to this video, and I will post the other one here shortly. Alright, thank you.